I think it's well appropriate for me to wear a shirt today called Into the Storm, because what's happening in Washington State and the actions of the commission is essentially creating this storm that doesn't actually need to be occurring. And really, the whole premise of this video is very, very, very straightforward. Why isn't the science, the people who are the professionals, being followed or being listened to? That's it. Back in my career, I was a professor. I taught undergraduate students for 6 years, the people who are going to be our resource stewards one day. Essentially, the biologists that work for the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. These guys love, and gals, love wildlife. They have dedicated their careers to doing something amazing. They have sacrificed salaries, they work for a state government organization, but they do it because they love wildlife. And what do you think they are saying to themselves when a politically appointed commission is saying, you guys really, the science, it doesn't really matter. Our opinion, though, of the matter, that's what we're going for. That's what we're going to believe in. That's what we're going to push forward. It is absolutely mind-blowing. So what is the point then? Let's just take an even massive step back. What is the point of science at the end of the day? You're eroding the essential fabric of society. The commission of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is eroding an elemental foundational piece of society. So what's going on this Friday, June 21st and 22nd? The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is having an open commission meeting. They are accepting public comments. You can even show up as the public and express your disappointment and your opinion on what they're doing. And here's what's happening. It's that the commission has voted 5-4 to move a petition forward on limiting, changing mountain lion regulations in the state of Washington. Well, the commission received a petition from organizations asking for a change in the mountain lion seasons. Well, who submitted the petition? Surprise, surprise. Humane Society of America, Center for Biological Diversity, the Mountain Lion Foundation, and Washington's for Wildlife First. All organizations that have one mandate: stop hunting. So from the outset, do you think that their intentions are going to follow the science? No. So back in mid-April, the commission voted 5-4 to move this forward. 4 of the commissioners were standing with the agency biologist and the director and saying, guys, they're saying what the science is saying. 5 of the commissioners say, no, we're not going to believe the science. Let me read a couple of excerpts from that meeting. The director of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is saying, I'm just trying to get my head around this whole thing. I'm in a bit of disbelief, frankly. I would be in disbelief too. The director of an agency that's science-based, that has a mandate to manage resources, being told by a commission that's politically driven that their opinion is more important and should be believed over the scientists that he manages. I would be in disbelief too. Commissioner Linville said this: I would implore us to ask ourselves, is this going to build trust with the public, or is this going to cause a firestorm we're about to step into? I believe this is going to cause a firestorm. Into the storm. Absolutely. Of course it will. If the science is saying X and the commission's going, we're going to say Y, you have to back up Y. Is Y coming from the biologists of the state? From the department? No. So 5 of the commissioners are in favor of this proposed rule change. I'm not going to get into all the details of the proposed changes, but some of them are reducing the percent of quota by predator management unit, reducing the length of the season, and then including things like roadkill and other sources of mortality for the mountain lion population in the overall percentage quota by PMU. There are several things wrong with all 3 of them. Again, the most basic fundamental thing that's wrong with it is that it's not based on any science that has come out of the state biologists, the experts in this field. Let me give you an idea of how asinine this actually is. Let's assume for a second that this is the Commission for Transportation and that the Department of Transportation's engineers have stated that a road needs to be X traffic patterned, it needs to be fixed every other year, etc., etc., etc. And the Commission voting 5-4 to ignore the engineers' recommendations and say, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to pave the road every year. Or we're going to change the traffic pattern to this, to Y versus X. Nobody would go for that. Nobody would believe them. Or everyone would see through the disguise that is saying, we just don't like a certain lifestyle. Humane Society, Mountain Lion Foundation, Center for Biological Diversity, Washington's for Wildlife First. They all want to see the idea of recreational hunting, this lifestyle, gone. That is the storm that is brewing, that is occurring, that the battle lines have been drawn in the state of Washington. So get out, put your public comment in this Friday, this Saturday, call up, have your voice heard, because Washington State, just like Colorado, are essentially the battlegrounds that we are fighting inches of ground in terms of saving this lifestyle. Here's what I say to the organizations that are filing petitions against the hunting lifestyle. These organizations would probably promote the idea of diversity, of inclusivity, of a society that provides equal rights to everyone. Unfortunately, that seems to exclude our lifestyle, doesn't include our kind of diversity, doesn't include the thing that we enjoy. I think that's quite sad in today's society. One of extreme inclusivity, but an exclusion of a lifestyle that you just don't agree with. Doesn't sound very good, right?